From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, June 1st. Starting off the day with a mix of some sun and clouds. We're going to get some more clouds rolling in, and then we're going to get some rain in later tonight. So those showers move into the state beginning late tonight. So you should have a pretty decent Tuesday, though. A typical late spring day will be on tap with temperatures rising to the mid-70s. And we do now know the name of the man police shot yesterday morning after officers say he charged them with a knife. At last check, 35-year-old Curtis Walker is still in critical condition. He was shot by police on South Colorado Avenue near Washington Street yesterday morning. Now he's under arrest for 2 counts of attempted murder. Police say Walker charged towards an officer with a knife in his hand in a rapid and aggressive manner after a domestic disturbance at his house. That's when both officers fired their guns. Walker was hit several times. Investigators say this all started just before 5 yesterday morning when Walker was threatening to kill a woman with a knife at the East Side home. That woman was not hurt. IMPD says one officer was hit in the crossfire, but he was wearing a ballistic vest, was treated at the hospital, and is in good condition. Investigators say multiple officers had body cameras on. They were activated. The 2 officers who fired their guns are on administrative leave pending an investigation, which is standard procedure. At this point, we do not know their names. Today is a day of remembrance of one of the nation's darkest days. President Biden is traveling to Oklahoma to mark 100 years since the Tulsa Race Massacre. Biden will meet with survivors. He will be the first president to be part of the remembrances of what happened in what used to be known as Black Wall Street, a booming area for blacks to thrive and to socialize and to be comfortable and to grow their wealth. Now, the president issued a proclamation calling yesterday a day of remembrance, 100 years after the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. A mob killed more than 300 black Americans and burned homes, businesses, and churches. Biden has called on Americans to recommit to end systemic racism. Hundreds gathered Monday for a candlelight vigil and prayer, a dedication outside a historic black church that was destroyed. It was rebuilt several years later, becoming a symbol of Tulsa's black community. 2 days, May 31st and June 1st, 1921, that survivors will remember, like Viola Fletcher, who was 7 years old at the time of the massacre. 35 city blocks were destroyed, and 10,000 black Tulsans were left homeless.
They were killing people and burning houses. We could see people running and people laying on the ground, probably bleeding from being shot and killed.
Survivors have called for restitution, but no black people who survived or their relatives have received compensation in return. Now the Democrats control the U.S. House and Senate. Some say there is hope. Today, the city of Tulsa will begin exhuming bodies possibly linked to the crimes. There are efforts to retrieve at least a dozen sets of remains. The city and its Public Oversight Committee plan to conduct research, commemorate the grave sites, and honor the remains. A manhunt is underway in Miami. Police are looking for at least 3 people accused of firing shots into a crowd early Sunday morning. There has been new surveillance video released. It's from outside of the banquet hall where this happened. It shows a white van pull up, 3 people wearing masks get out with guns, and then run out of view. The shooting killed 2 people. 21 others were wounded. Police say they found the SUV used as a getaway vehicle yesterday. Authorities pulled it from a canal about 8 miles away from the banquet hall. There were cries of anger and grief that interrupted a police press conference. Here you'll hear from the father of one of those killed.
You all killed my kid. You must burn. You gotta burn.
At last check, the reward for information on the shooters is at $130,000. Beginning today, there are new requirements for people seeking unemployment. According to Governor Holcomb's executive order signed last month, people applying for jobless benefits need to be actively seeking full-time work. They also need to be available for full-time work. Applicants also need to establish good cause for leaving a job and participate in job counseling if required. In addition, the Department of Workforce Development says it will start charging employers for layoffs starting today. Americans are on the move again. TSA says it screened nearly 2 million people Friday and about 1.6 million Saturday and Sunday for the largest holiday weekend total since the start of the pandemic. And that's even before Monday's numbers come out this morning. It's not a full return to normal yet. Now, Friday through Sunday of Memorial Weekend 2019 saw about 2 million more people at airports than this year. One traveler in St. Louis talked about what it was like on his flights.
Our flight from San Francisco to Denver wasn't too packed. The one from Denver to St. Louis was pretty packed.
According to the CDC, more than 60% of U.S. adults have at least one dose of a COVID vaccine, helping to make people feel safe and getting back to traveling. And a warning from the World Health Organization comes just as travel begins to pick back up.
It would be a monumental error for any country to think the danger has passed.
The Director General of the organization is warning against returning to normal too soon. According to the WHO, there is still work to be done before the pandemic's over. Agency leaders say vaccinations and public health measures are still necessary to end the pandemic. Flights into the capital of Vietnam are halted as the country deals with surging COVID-19 cases. According to the Vietnamese government, flights into Hanoi are on pause until June 7th. International flights into Ho Chi Minh City are canceled until June 14th. According to the U.S. Embassy, outbound flights are still available for passengers with a negative COVID-19 test. Johns Hopkins COVID data tracker reports more than 7,400 positive cases in the country. American Airlines is joining the list of airlines suspending in-flight alcohol services in the main cabin. According to the company, the decision comes after a Southwest passenger allegedly struck a flight attendant on May 23rd. Alcohol sales were just reinstated on May 1st after being canceled because of the pandemic. The airline says the in-flight service will be suspended until at least September 13th. Southwest Airlines says it will not resume in-flight alcohol service as originally planned. The airline had planned to resume service on some flights this month. The first athletes in the postponed Olympic Games are on their way to Tokyo. Australia's softball team is set to land today. They're arriving as Japan is under an extended pandemic-related state of emergency. According to the country's prime minister, the number of cases of COVID-19 is still high and hospitals are overburdened with patients. The prime minister says he's still preparing for safe and secure games. The Olympics are set to start on July 23rd. The owners of one central Indiana candy store say controversy surrounding distantly related shop is harming their business. Kathy and Kevin Vickery own the Goods Candies in Kennard. A cousin owns the Separate Goods Candy Shop in Anderson. As we've talked about here in the podcast, reported extensively on Wish TV, the Anderson owner posted a job description on Facebook detailing behaviors he doesn't want to see in potential workers. It created quite the stir. Kathy Vickery says online reviews of her store are now taking a hit in reaction to that posting.
I don't want for our history to get tied up in this Google search that yields sexist, misogynist candy store owner, because that's just not our identity and it never has been. If there's any problem going on inside your organization, you should take that situation by the bootstraps and turn it into an opportunity to lead your crew.
The owner in Anderson has since announced he's selling the store. The Vickerys tell us he can sell the building and the equipment, but does not have rights to the name. An IT mate has learned that one of the largest Catholic health providers in the country is laying off hundreds of people in Indiana. Ascension Health is eliminating many on-site IT jobs. Monty Teague tells I-Team 8 he used to be an IT supervisor at St. Vincent's Hospital on the north side of Indianapolis. He says he had to break the news to his team that Ascension was outsourcing or eliminating their positions. Public company financial statements show the pandemic hurt the health system's bottom line. Teague says he understands tough decisions have to be made. He just wishes that the hospital took a different approach.
We used to call them ministries. That's what you call them, ministries, right, instead of hospitals. And that the reason is because you are ministering to the sick and poor, and part of that ministry is to bring them into the Christian family. Yeah. And that is totally gone now. They are not ministries. They are for profit for a few people at the top.
According to Teague, there will be more cuts to IT staff later this summer. And there's been a cyber attack on a major meat company. JBS USA is the country's second largest producer of beef, pork, and poultry. The company is only commenting through a news release so far, saying a coordinated online attack hit its North American and Australian IT systems. So far, JBS is not saying if or how the hack could affect meat production or prices. The company has 84 facilities in America, including one in Elkhart. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to withhold pay for lawmakers who staged a walkout. The governor tweeted that he'll veto part of a measure that, in his words, funds the legislative branch. No pay for those who abandon their responsibilities. State Democrats walked out of chambers to kill a new voting bill. The bill would have banned drive-through voting and 24-hour voting. The walkout meant lawmakers didn't meet the minimum number of people required to vote.
It became clear that Republicans were going to resort to an extreme tactic to shut off debate, even though we were still fighting the bill. That forced our hand.
A director with a voter engagement group, Move Texas, says despite the governor promising a special session, the delay gives them time to make the public aware about the bill's restrictive voting measures. NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab says a 600-foot asteroid will pass by the Earth today. That's about the same size as the Space Needle in Seattle. According to the agency, it'll fly by around 4.5 million miles away. A smaller bus-sized asteroid is expected to pass by much closer to the planet today. That one's supposed to fly by around 181,000 miles away from Earth. That's more than 3/4 the distance between the Earth and the Moon.
I can't take the suit out. I mean, this is awesome. So happy.
Helio Castroneves still celebrating his 4th Indianapolis 500 victory. The champ posted it on Instagram. His wallet's also a little heavier this morning. Castroneves picked up the $1.8 million winner's check at last night's victory celebration. It was a smaller party than the traditional banquet with a limited number of drivers and guests because of the pandemic. Those who were there repeatedly praised the fans and those who worked to get them there.
I mentioned before, this place without fans is nothing. And as soon as I come out of the car, the reaction of everyone, and I tell you what, that was very touching. That was very emotional to me. I want to hug everyone. I felt like home. I felt like I felt comfortable. I felt welcome, in the place that people have so much respect, and I feel the same way. So pay that respect, sharing that moment with everyone. It was absolutely incredible.
Next up for the IndyCar Series, back-to-back races in Detroit, June 12th and 13th. And we could find out today if the Supreme Court will take up a case involving talcum powder. Johnson & Johnson wants the High Court to void a $2 billion verdict connected to its talc products. 22 women successfully sued, saying the company's products gave them ovarian cancer. Johnson & Johnson contends the products are safe and that there's no connection to the cancer cases. And tennis star Naomi Osaka is out of the French Open. She pulled out over mandatory media appearances. The tournament fined her $15,000 for skipping a news conference. Osaka explains that her withdrawal in a social media post was because it was the best thing for the tournament, other players, and her own well-being. She writes that she's been dealing with depression and that speaking to the media gives her waves of anxiety. Longtime sports commentator Christine Brennan says the situation was avoidable if the focus had been on mental health from the beginning.
I think this is going to open people's eyes to a conversation that we should be having. And if it also helps others, because Naomi Osaka is such a role model to thousands, probably millions at this point, if it helps a young person or two or 10 or 100 or 1,000.
Osaka is not yet saying when she might return to competition. And the NBA is cracking down on fans who violate the league's fan code of conduct. It comes after a string of fans misbehaving at playoff games. The most recent happened last night in the third quarter of the Wizards 76ers game. There's a fan tried to run out on the court. A security guard was able to tackle that fan. That fan was then ejected from the game. An unruly fan that was at the Celtics' next game on Sunday and now faces charges of assault and battery with a deadly weapon. That's according to a Boston police official who spoke with USA Today. A video showed the fan throwing a water bottle at Nets player Kyrie Irving. In the past week, there have been at least 3 other reports of fans getting banned from arenas for bad behavior. Disney is taking applications from aspiring filmmakers and directors. Disney Launchpad Shorts is now entering its 2nd season. The program puts the spotlight on short film creators by showcasing their work on Disney+. This time around, Disney is asking applicants to focus their work on the theme of connection. Applications close June 11th, with the 6 winning films making their debut this December. Public pools at Indianapolis parks are opening for the summer. According to Indy Parks, the pools at Bethel Park, Frederick Douglass Park, Garfield Park, Gustafson Park, and Riverside Park all open at 10:30 this morning. Thatcher Park's pool opens this afternoon at 4 p.m. You can find this weekly schedule on the Wish TV app. Just scroll down, tap on the As Seen on Wish TV section, then click on the Indy Park story. And finally, some business headlines for you. More than 11 million Americans are behind on their rent, and many could face eviction when the National Housing Protection expires this month. Housing advocates say the ban is lifting at a terrible time for property owners and tenants alike, with states still scrambling to distribute the $45 billion in rental assistance. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's eviction moratorium, which has been in effect since September, will lift on June 30th. Overdraft revenue at banks fell in 2020 for the first time in 6 years. The reasons? With nowhere to go when COVID-19 hit, many people curbed their spending. Stimulus money helped them pad their bank accounts, and banks were also more lenient about waiving the fees. Still, Moab Services says financial firms brought in $31 billion in overdraft fees. Carnival Corporation's flagship cruise line was given the green light by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to begin sailing from 3 U.S. ports, including Galveston. It's Carnival Horizon ship leaving from Miami and the Carnival Vista and Breeze ships leaving from Galveston will be the first to carry passengers this July. By Monday, the FDA is expected to make one of its most important decisions in years, whether to approve the drug for mild cognitive impairment or early-stage dementia caused by Alzheimer's. It would be the first treatment ever sold to slow the deterioration in brain function caused by the disease, not just to ease symptoms. And it would be the first new Alzheimer's treatment since 2003. Some believe it's an important fight in the battle against the disease, but critics argue the drug's trial data falls far short of proving the drug works. The drug's maker, Biogen, says the medication, by slowing the disease, gives patients valuable time to be with their families and to perform everyday tasks such as cleaning and shopping. According to the Better Business Bureau, as people are spending more time online, there's been a significant increase in the number of online scams since the start of the pandemic. Last year alone, the BBB reports that type of crime rose by more than 25% compared to the previous year. Facebook's American Head of Safety, Jennifer Hanley, says that Facebook is adding new security features for Internet Safety Month in June. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.